Cheide.
For this 3-minute rules, we will be looking at the combat phase, and in particular the rules for shrinking units and no more foes. All of this can be found on page 61 of the large 8th edition rulebook. Occasionally, a situation can arise when one or more units are no longer in base contact with the enemy, but at least part of the enemy unit is still alive. For example, consider this combat where the High Elves are being attacked in the front and the flank by the Dwarves. After several rounds of combat, perhaps the High Elves have lost a rank and a few more figurines, which would leave then the Dwarves, the Thunderers, out of combat with them. Clearly this is wrong. Just as warriors on a real battlefield would push on to continue the fight and would not stop fighting if the enemy was standing a few paces away, so must warriors on the miniature battlefield. Whenever a unit becomes stranded in this manner, the attacking unit is immediately nudged by as small an amount as possible to bring it back into contact with the foe. No more foes. In multiple combats, it can sometimes happen that at the end of a round of close combat, some units are no longer engaged with any enemy unit. So in this case, we can say after this combat, the Prince on Griffin is actually destroyed and taken out of combat, leaving those Dwarf Thunderers to the left by themselves. Units such as these Thunderers on the left are out of combat for all purposes and can move normally from then on. Any combat result points that unit would have added to the fight for wounds inflicted are still counted for the fight's overall combat resolution, but other bonuses such as standards, charges, and so on are not. Note that such a unit cannot cancel out steadfast in an enemy. And with that, we come to the conclusion of this 3-minute rules on the combat phase and shrinking units and no more foes. Thank you for joining us here today at Grey Army Gaming for the future of fantasy.